everybody, this is Oksana, and today I'm going to show you how to make this little pendant here. It's got a little point and bead at the bottom there, and it's got this neat little bail that's a little bit different than the typical bails that I've been making. And here's the back of this pendant, so if you would like to see how I make this, then just keep watching. I'm starting out with 3 20-gauge square copper wires that are about 9 inches each. And then my stone, it is quite little. Let me measure it for you here because it's less than an inch. So, tiny bit less than an inch. Somewhere between 3/4 and an inch. 3/4 of an inch and an inch. And it is a doublet. It's an opal doublet, which if you're not familiar with, that's when they use a thin opal and they glue it to a backing. So anyways, this is a stone that I'm going to be using. And the first thing I'm going to do is actually not the thing that I always do, where I wrap. This is going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to take one wire. I'm going to find the middle of it. So just kind of bend it. Okay, here's the middle. Go in there with my pliers and make a bend, just kind of a sharp bend. And then you're gonna make that even tighter by squishing it together. Like that. Now I'm just holding it with my pliers and I'm opening it back up. And this is what's going to give us that point. That is going to be just kind of a decorative element on the bottom of our stone. So now I'm just making sure that this doesn't, it's not like crooked, like it's symmetrical up here. So I think that looks pretty good. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take one of these beads, just one, and it is the copper 3mm round beads from Rio Grande, and that is where my wire is from as well. And I write all my measurements of my wire down below the video if you missed anything, and the gauges. So I'm gonna put one of those beads onto my wire, get it kind of in the middle. And for this next part, I am going to be using some 22-gauge half round dead soft copper wire. And I like to just keep mine on the spool. So what I'm going to do now is I have my wire with the angle, and I have my wire with the bead, and then I just have my wire that I did nothing to. And I'm going to line them up in that order. So point, bead, plain wire, okay? And you could technically do a different order than this. This is just kind of how I'm doing it in this video. And then I'm taking my half round wire, and I like to just grab like a big end so that this is going to be enough for me, and I'm wrapping it around all 3 of the wires. And I'm going to just squish that. You want to make sure the wires are lined up nicely next to each other and are not like crisscrossing or anything. So now, if you look at it from the front, I'm going to bring this over here, just kind of over this bead and to the side, just to get it over here, to get it onto this side. And I'm going to wrap the same number of times. So I did 4. I'm also going to do 4 here. So then I'm going to trim it. And then I'm going to squish it down with that wire end. I'm going to press that down as well. So it is here on the inside. Okay. So now I'm going to cut this wire that's kind of going across. I'm going to cut it here, and then I'm going to take what's left of it and I'm going to trim that here as well. So that I can press that down. Press those little wire ends, and then the wire here. I'm going to trim that as well. And you could have started and wrapped the other way. I know that I like to grab like a longer end of wire and I go with it this way, but you can have the wire end and then wrap with the wire that's on the spool, and this way you won't run out. So I'm just kind of fixing it all, making sure it looks good and symmetrical and all the wires are pressed down tightly and all that stuff. Now this is our frame that's going to go around the stone, and this is the bottom. I actually want my stone to be like this, which means that I have to bend this to have it have that kind of angle in there. And you're welcome to wrap like an oval or something, in which case you would kind of bend this in a less sharp sort of angle and more of like a rounded shape to fit the bottom of your oval. So now I'm just putting my stone in here and just kind of pressing it around the stone. So there's a little bit of a gap here, so I'm just going to tighten that up a little bit. And if you lay this down on a flat surface, that will be easier for you to work with. Alright. So once I get to the top, if you have like a teardrop or something, this will just kind of come to a point, but mine doesn't, so I bring the wire together and there ends up being a little gap here up top. So now I can remove my stone, and now I'm just going to take my 22 gauge half round again, and I'm just grabbing a little tail end, and I'm going to wrap this way to connect. And then here what I'm going to do, I'm going to do something a little different with my bail today as well, so that I'm going to separate these wires exactly in half. So these 3 on this side and these 3 from the other side, just like that. I'm going to take this wire just so that it's like nice and secure. I'm going to wrap it. First, I'm going to wrap it around this right side. Next, I'm going to wrap it around the left side. And I'm going to leave myself a little tail end. So we have 2 wire ends here, just in case we need them. So what I want to do is, first I'm going to pop my stone in so that I know how much space I have up here to work with. So for my stone, I'm kind of just pressing it into the frame. I'm going to grab the wire here. This is not a domed cabochon. This has a flat surface, so it's just slightly different. basically the wire just kind of goes onto the stone, and this way it doesn't fall out. And on the back, I'm just going to grab the wire with my, first with my finger and then with my pliers, and I'm also just going to bend it onto my stone, again to make sure that it cannot get out of the frame. So once our stone is trapped, and this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to go to the back, and I'm going to take the backmost wires, these two, just because you can do this next step that I'm going to do with all three, but I would like to do it with just 2 wires. So I'm basically just getting rid of the 3rd wire in each little group. So I'm bending it here in the back, and I'm trimming it short, and then I'm just gonna squishing it down onto the back here to get rid of it, essentially. All right. So now that leaves me with 2 wires. Oh, this came out. I wondered what happened with that. 2 wires on each side. Oh, this one actually got twisted. There we go. So it was like the flat side up. Looked funny. All right. So this wire here, that is like here on the very bottom, I'm just going to trim and tug that one away. And the reason I'm hesitant to do that with this one is because it's all like open here at the top, and if I trim this, the little wire end is going to be just kind of here, and I don't know, I feel like it can move around a little bit, so I want to secure this wire a little better before I trim it. That's the only reason that I'm kind of keeping it around, and potentially maybe I'll use it for something. So now I'm bending this and this side as well, trying to get these 2 wires to just be kind of side by side like this. So this is a heart shape up here, and now I'm taking the wires onto the back, like that. And now here on the back, I am just going to trim them. So there's a little bit of an end there, so I can tuck that away. Then I'm going to take those ends, tuck them inwards, and this is a fun little bail. I used to make it a lot, maybe like a few years ago, and then I kind of forgot about it, and I haven't done this sort of bail style in a while, and then I kind of remembered about it again. And the way that you put your necklace through it, and I'll show you, is you put the necklace through here, and then it goes kind of around and then in here. So it's just kind of a neat and different way to do it. So now this wire, I'm bringing it down. I just want to wrap it around something before I cut it, because I feel like otherwise it's not going to be very secure. So I'm just taking it, and see where I'm bringing it? Through here. So it's going straight down, kind of in between here, and then around these two wires. See that? So I'm just going to wrap it another time, and now I'm going to trim that. And tucking away that little wire end and squishing that down. So here is what it looks like from the back, and here is what it looks like from the front. Alright, so I just grabbed the closest cord necklace to me just to show you how I would do this, and this one's a little weird because it's got a chain at the end, but you would first put your necklace from the back to the front this way, and then you would put it through the other hole like that. So this is kind of how it hangs, just for something a little different than your normal typical bail. So that is it. That is our finished result. If you need any information about the wire I used, that's going to be listed down below under this video, as well as my Instagram, which is where I sell my jewelry, and my Facebook page, and also my Patreon account, which is where you can donate to me to support me. So that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.